With DC Fandom in the books, guys, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Suicide Squad. Obviously, guys, a lot of games had obviously been announced and such through DC Fandom, and we got a really good idea of what to expect from the gaming side. From the movie side, we have a lot there as well, and I think that DC Fandom, guys, regardless of whether you liked all of the trailers and all of the things being announced, or you didn't like a lot of them, I gotta say that DC Fandom was a smash success because it got everybody super excited about at least one thing or another throughout the course of its runtime. And I gotta say, one of those is Suicide Squad for me. Now, Suicide Squad, the video game, I'm very excited about. The Suicide Squad, which is the movie that's coming out, I'm excited about this one as well. Not quite as excited about it as like the Batman, but the Suicide Squad is one that I'm excited about because not only are they making this movie kind of like a reboot of the movie, a new vision for it, that being James Gunn and his vision for this, but it's also the video game is going to be out as well. So it's going to be a number of ways that we can kind of connect with this franchise in particular. And what I wanted to go ahead and do, guys, is talk about everything that we know so far about the Suicide Squad. We can kind of give our thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear yours in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So in an article, guys, written by Eric Eisenberg of Cinema Blend, David Ayer's Suicide Squad is a movie with a complicated history. The film was famously rushed through development, had to undergo many mid-production changes, and ultimately received some vicious reviews from professional critics when it came out in the summer of 2016. Despite all of this, however, the movie wound up being a massive hit around the world, bringing in nearly $750 million worldwide, so it's not really a huge surprise that Warner Brothers and DC Comics are developing a follow-up. Now, one thing, guys, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, I did not like it very much. I was very excited for it. It just did not really do what we were hoping it would do. The one thing I will say, though, is that the Suicide Squad logo, in my opinion, is not nearly as good as David Ayer's Suicide Squad logo. Now, obviously, guys, a logo is only going to do so much. It's kind of like a cover of a book, a cover of a video game or something. Obviously, that is not going to dictate whether a movie is good or not. I mean, the David Ayer's Suicide Squad, I thought the logo was awesome looking, but the movie was not that good. This could not have as good of a logo, that being the Suicide Squad, but it could end up being an incredible movie. So I just wanted to point that out there, that I don't really like the logo much, but like I said, we got to take that with a pinch of salt. So with the film now less than a year away from a release, details are finally starting to come out beyond those as simple as the movie's director and the release date. In aim of keeping all confirmed information in one place, we put this together. So what is the Suicide Squad release date? There was a time when the DC Extended Universe seemed to be floundering a bit, not quite sure what its future was going to be, but now the franchise appears to have a clear vision for the future and have set up an awesome lineup of movies to come out in the next 2.5 years. As things stand, the Suicide Squad is one of 7 live-action blockbusters in the works, and will be following Wonder Woman 1984 with its August 6, 2021 release date, which is very exciting, guys. Wonder Woman 1984 is probably going to be a great way for them to kind of continue the DC Extended Universe into the Suicide Squad, and then of course the Batman, amongst other titles that are going to be coming out. And look, the DC Extended Universe absolutely had some peaks and valleys, okay? I thought that the first 3, the Dark Knight trilogy, was incredible. They should have continued it after that, like right off of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises. They did not do that, and so it's just felt very inconsistent, whereas Marvel has done a great job with what they're doing with their superhero movies, and they've had these phases, and they've really knocked them out of the park for the most part. DC's kind of, stumbled somewhat, but it looks like they're finally getting their footing here. Whether we're talking from a gaming perspective, we're talking from a movie perspective, they seem like they're going to be gaining some ground here, and it looks like from Wonder Woman 1984 to the Suicide Squad to the Batman, the Flash movie, just all these different titles coming out, right? Even some that were being announced at DC Fandom. I gotta say, guys, we're in a pretty good spot, I feel, because I think that some of these, maybe not all of them are going to like get knocked out of the park, but I think that this is a great way for them to start building what they're trying to do. So I'm excited about that. Now, what is the Suicide Squad rating? Films like Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and Logan have done a radical job completely changing the comic movie game where ratings are concerned. While it was once believed that the blockbusters had to be PG-13 in order to bring in key teenager demographics, it has been shown multiple times that it's very possible to make a crazy amount of money while only appealing to adults. DC has gotten into that particular game very recently with the releases of both Todd Phillips' Joker and Kathy Yan's Birds of Prey. And it's possible that the Suicide Squad will be the next title on that list. And I actually think they probably will do that. I think it will be a R rating. Maybe not, because they want to, maybe they're going to have some humor and stuff. But I would assume, guys, the Suicide Squad is going to be pretty gory. So I think from just a violence perspective, I would assume it's going to be rated R. Unfortunately, whether or not that's going to happen isn't clear yet. Although the decision has apparently been made behind the scenes as to what the movie's rating is going to be, it's being maintained as a secret for now. Like with Birds of Prey, we'll likely have to wait until the first trailer is released to get confirmation. Now, I'll say this, guys. Todd Phillips' Joker, absolutely awesome. Can't wait for the sequel. I did not like Birds of Prey that much. It didn't really do a whole lot for me, unfortunately. It was kind of nice seeing Harley Quinn's origin story, but at the same time, I don't know. I just didn't like it as much as some people enjoyed it, but I absolutely loved the Joker. In July 2018, the comic book movie world was rocked by the news that Marvel Studios had made the decision to fire writer-director James Gunn from production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And some of the quickest speculation to spring up was a number of questions, right, as to whether or not he could be scooped up by another comic book franchise. At the end of the day, Gunn and Marvel were able to make up, and now he's on track to make his Guardians sequel. But those fences weren't mended before the filmmaker had the opportunity to strike a deal with Warner Brothers to both write and direct The Suicide Squad. So James Gunn, guys, is going to be directing it. And I gotta say, I'm excited to see his version of The Suicide Squad versus like David Ayer's version. I like David Ayer a lot as a director. I think he did a great job with Fury. I thought that was an incredible movie overall. I was very excited for Suicide Squad. It just didn't do that much for me. And look, not every director is going to be good for a comic book movie, and I think that James Gunn is definitely that guy. I think he's really good at taking a number of characters that have lots of different personalities and such, and he can really bring out great performances out of the actors, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. I gotta say, guys, I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I did not like the second one at all. I kind of felt like James Gunn, it was time for him to move on from that franchise anyway. He's not. He's going to be doing the third one. And I thought that the Suicide Squad, though, it's like a fresh take for him. It's a fresh franchise for him to kind of just do what it is he does. And I think that's where he flourishes, is by doing, that first movie in the franchise. Really, like, he can make it go into great directions. And I'm excited to see his vision for the Suicide Squad. Now, it's common practice for studios to keep plot details for upcoming comic book movies close to the vest, and the Suicide Squad is proving to be no exception, as we presently have no real idea what the central narrative of the blockbuster is. That being said, James Gunn has said that he was particularly inspired by the original John Ostrander run of Suicide Squad comics, and it's been said that the film will be working with the aesthetic of a 1970s war movie. Of course, the general setup of the team, known officially as Task Force X, is the same as it ever was. The group is made up of convicted supervillains who are given the opportunity to take time off their respective prison sentences by performing Black Ops missions for the government. The movie's specific relationship with the canon of David Ayer's Suicide Squad is presently unclear, as the project has been referred to as a reboot of sorts, but it does feature a number of returning characters. So, which characters are that? Well, obviously, guys, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie is playing as her, which is, I think she is definitely the best person for Harley Quinn. Captain Boomerang, Jay Courtney, absolutely great. I can't wait to see him once again as Captain Boomerang. Rick Flag, which is being played by Joel Kinnaman. I'm excited about this character. Obviously, Amanda Waller, who is played by Viola Davis. She's returning, absolutely great as well. Bloodsport, which is Idris Elba. I'm excited to see his version of this character. And John Cena's playing Peacemaker. That'll be very interesting to say the least. And then Weasel is being played by Sean Gunn, which I'm assuming is going to be something like Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. That should be something kind of interesting. And then King Shark. We don't know, guys, who is playing as King Shark as of yet. There is talk, though, that Steve Agee is going to be voicing King Shark. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that. And then Michael Rooker is going to be playing as Savant. And then you have Nathan Fillion playing as TDK. Pete Davidson playing as Blackguard. Peter Capaldi playing as the Thinker. Alice Braga playing Solseria. Which, guys, these are just, I mean, this is just one, superstar, essentially. I guess you can't say superstar, but they've got a lot of superstars on this cast, without a doubt. And then on top of that, guys, you've got definitely just stars, maybe not necessarily superstars, but they very well might be after they do this movie. Daniela Melchior plays as Ratcatcher 2. You've got David Dastmalchian, who plays Polka Dot Man. I mean, guys, the list goes on and on. Mei-Ling Ng plays as Mongol. You have Flula Borg playing as Javelin. Look, guys, overall, there are some incredible actors, actresses, even ones that I don't know a whole lot about, but at the same time, I'm very excited, to say the least, to see the versions of some of the returning characters from the first Suicide Squad to some of the new ones. I can't wait to see King Shark, man. I mean, King Shark, that's going to be so awesome seeing him in the Suicide Squad, especially because he is also in Suicide Squad from the video game perspective from Rocksteady Games. Very exciting stuff. But with that, guys, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. What do you guys think about this version of the Suicide Squad? To me, it's got to be better than the first one, the original the Suicide Squad from David Ayer. I know there were a number of issues that went on with that behind the scenes and all of that, but this version should be interesting coming from James Gunn, and I'm hoping it's something pretty special, maybe similar to like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. That would be really cool, but we'll have to wait and see, guys. Obviously, I think that this is definitely got the cast, it's got the director, it's got what they need to be successful. So now it's just them executing on that, and us as fans enjoying it, or criticizing whatever it is that we feel needs to be criticized. But with that, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the Suicide Squad at this point in time? Seeing the featurette, seeing like the teasers and things of that nature that are coming out regarding this movie. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more of the Suicide Squad content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.